Well, how are y'all doing today? We're out here planting some sorghum, and as I mentioned on Friday, we were looking at getting some rain starting, but they pushed the rain chance to clear the skies, so we're going to try to get some sorghum planted before that rain comes in. Right now, we're running about planting a really heavier population than what I'm used to planting. We're planting right at 80,000 seeds per acre, which I've forgotten what the conversion is. I know a lot of people convert sorghum over to the weight, pounds per acre, but I've totally forgot what that conversion factor is. We're running a little bit of difficulties this morning. The planter, I don't know if this thing has the wrong seed sensor in it or what's going on, but for some reason it's counting really high. We went and dug around for a long time. That's why I really haven't filmed much. We were out there digging, looking for seed, and it's spacing the seed out correctly. The depth's great. We brought it up to where it's planting about 1 3/4 inches, 2 inches deep, which is right in the top of the moisture band. And like I said, hopefully we're gonna get some rain come tomorrow. So this is our first little patch of Milo that we had today to plant. I've got these 2 other fields over here, little patches to plant, and we've got a couple of bigger fields that will hopefully hit this afternoon, assuming all goes well, and I can keep rolling. I'd really like to get the majority of the sorghum we have to planted today, but just so that we don't have to worry about it, because here pretty soon we're going to start working on getting some cotton fields prepped and ready to go. We've got some, we're going to actually, sounds like, hip the rows back up, which I'll show y'all what that is when we get to it. And then we use what we call a do-all, but it's basically a chopping wheel, or reel, excuse me, and a drag chain, and we use that to knock the top of the bed off so that the planter will plant into it without a problem. So, well, we're done with that little patch. We'll get moved over to another patch, and I'll give you all an update when there's something else to talk about. It's been brought to my attention that y'all may not know what Milo is, or grain sorghum as the formal name, but you ever see, obviously I'll show y'all once we get it up, and towards the end of the year, once we get to harvest, obviously I'll be able to show you what the harvesting process looks like. But it is a small grain, technically, and it's used in chicken feed and a lot of other things like that. But anyway, I just thought I should probably mention that, considering that that's something that outside of Texas you don't see all that much. So that was just something I figured I should bring up. Everything seems to be working pretty good. We got into a little bit of discussion at lunch. It's now about 1:30 in the afternoon. We got into a discussion about how we might be planting a hair high. Now, sorghum is a little different compared to other crops in that, well, compared to corn. Let's compare it to corn. Corn, if you plant a heavier population, you'll actually have a decrease in yield, because the corn plants will compete against each other. Well, grain sorghum, it's the same family as Johnson grass, so you can almost think of it as a weed. I mean, it is a grass. However, you can think of it as a weed. And so if you plant a lower population, then it'll just put more grain, because it has a head. that where the grain is at the end. So it'll just fill the head out more. Well, if you plant it at a higher rate, the plants are competing against each other, you'll have a smaller head, but you'll have more heads. With corn, it doesn't quite work the same because the plants compete with each other the way they do. So I'm not being very clear on that, and I apologize. I can't think of the right word at the moment. But just know that Milo, as long as you get moisture, you'll be fine. Planting a little heavier. What the issue is, and the differences in population cause, is that if you plant Milo too thick, it will. I will. Gotta plant this out in the corner. At least to this first 8 rows. Sorry. Okay, what I was saying. Milo has to be planted in such a way that you will eventually get the plant will try and put out a second head, if that makes sense. So you've got the primary head that has your grain on it, and if you plant at too low of a population, then I believe it's called a tiller. Excuse me. But essentially the way it works is the plant will try to put a second head on, and it'll ruin your ability to harvest it, because that new head will be full of a bunch of immature seeds. And so this grain has to dry down, just like corn has to dry down, or any other crop would have to dry down. So it's important that you get a high enough population to where it discourages tillers from popping up, but you have to plant at a low enough population, because if you do plant at a high population, what will happen is it'll be so thick, you'll get a windstorm where the plant will just lose integrity, and it won't be able to remain standing throughout the whole season. If you get into where you have to leave it in the field because of a rain or something, you can really run into an issue where it becomes difficult to harvest. So, just like everything else, there's a fine line, and knowing exactly where it's at is always the trial and error that you do every year. And so, experience is a great thing, and that's something that I'd like to talk about more in depth, and I'll probably do that later in this video. But asking around, seeing what other people are doing, that's a great tool when you're farming or just getting into farming, is asking around. You know, most farmers are very open about their practices, and it is a really encouraging thing to be able to go to your neighbor and ask, hey, what are you doing? What chemical are you applying? What tillage practice are you using? How much fertilizer are you putting down? And most farmers are going to give you that answer. Everybody in the farming community is very open. They're very friendly. And even if you're not into farming and you have those questions, if you ever see, a farmer on the side of the road stops and you have questions, most likely, they'd be willing to stop and talk to you. Now, I know with this COVID stuff going on, people are a little hesitant to, go out and meet new people, and so people might be a little timid, but the majority of people there, they're willing to give a lending hand to, a newcomer, or, give some information to people that are interested in farming. And there's a couple of reasons why. One, farmers get a bad rap with chemical usage, and so there's a lot of misconceptions about the chemicals that are used in agriculture. And I'll be the first to tell you, yes, there are some that are very harmful to people, but you have to go through training to be able to apply those. In fact, you have to get an applicator's license is what it's called. And so you have to be trained up on using agricultural chemicals to apply them. There are very few chemicals that farmers use that they can actually apply without having training. And so that's something that's very important, and farmers take very seriously. And in Texas, that's regulated through the Department of Agriculture, obviously. And so there is liability on the farmer's end of being trained and knowing what to use, the rate to use it at, and so that's always something that farmers get a bad rap for, is over spraying or chemical usage. So I just thought that was something that I could hit on in this video while we're kind of getting to this monotonous state of, you know, I've been doing the same thing for the last 3 videos now, just kind of planning, and you know, I got some different footage for y'all the last video, but I just thought maybe this video I'd do a little bit more of a talking segment, doing some explanation. So y'all let me know in the comments what y'all like, what you like to see. That way I kind of know, you know, I'm kind of just starting out with this, so if I need to bring up the volume, or you know, the cab noise is too much, or something like that I can try to work through. Obviously that the ringing chime of the planter monitor, we won't have that once I'm done planting, so that noise will kind of get out of there. That's just a factor we're gonna have to deal with planting with this planter while we're using it. But yeah, please feel free to let me know any recommendations of what I should do, or any sort of stuff like that. That way, you know, I can get y'all the content, especially while I'm small, my small channel. I can get y'all the content that y'all want to see, and you know, that way, you know, once I get bigger, like, I can't cater to what, you know, what y'all want to see all the time. Like, obviously I'll cater to what the viewers would like to see as a majority, but if you have a specific question, now would be a great time to ask it, because you know, I've got plenty of time to respond to y'all's comments. And the last thing I'll say before I cut this clip, I really appreciate the support that I've gotten already. As of today, I haven't looked at the most recent video, but the first video I put out almost has 100 views on it already, and that's kind of crazy to me, considering that it's been out for a week. I didn't know I was going to get that kind of viewership that fast, so I really do appreciate y'all, all y'all that watch. Well, I think this is going to be the end of today's video. We didn't have that much Milo seed on hand, so I got what I could get done, and we can't get any more today, I guess. It's really kind of unfortunate. I wanted to get more planted since we have that rain coming in tomorrow, but it is what it is. So thank y'all for watching. Like and subscribe, drop a comment if you have any questions. See y'all next time.